If you are in the thick of it with that all too familiar wave of pregnancy nausea, you know just how completely draining it can be. So in the next few minutes, we are going to break down what's really happening in your body and build a super practical visual guide to help you find some actual release. This is the big question, right? And feeling this way can feel incredibly isolating. But the very first thing to know is you are so far from alone in asking it. You are actually in the majority here. More than half of all pregnant women get morning sickness, so while it might feel really strange and awful, what your body's going through is an incredibly common and normal part of the whole journey. And here's a really fascinating way to think about it. While morning sickness feels just terrible, a lot of doctors actually see it as a positive sign. It's that rising HCG hormone, yep, the exact same one that gives you a positive pregnancy test, that's thought to be the main culprit. So in a weird way, that queasy feeling is direct proof that your body is working hard, building a healthy home for your baby. So what is actually going on? Well, it's that nauseous feeling, totally driven by a surge of hormones, and it usually kicks in right around week 6. And as so many of you know, the name morning sickness is a bit of a joke. It can strike morning, noon, or night. The good news for most, though, is that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It typically starts to fade after that first trimester. All right, let's get practical. Understanding the why is one thing, but figuring out how to get through the day is what really counts. So we're going to walk through a simple 3-part plan to help you manage your symptoms from the moment you wake up till your head hits the pillow. Okay, how you start your morning can seriously set the tone for the entire day. The absolute key is to get ahead of the nausea before it starts. So try setting your alarm an hour early. Before you even think about sitting up, have a few crackers that you stashed on your bedside table. An empty stomach is basically an open invitation for nausea. Then, and only then, get out of bed nice and slow. No sudden moves. Now for your daytime strategy. The goal here is to keep your stomach from ever being too full or too empty. Just graze on small meals all day long. And here's a huge tip. Separate your food and your drinks. Sip on water or whatever you can tolerate about 30 minutes before or after you eat, but not with your meal. This helps keep your stomach from getting overwhelmed. And yeah, rest is vital, but try not to lie down right after you eat, because that can actually make things worse. During the day, you've also got to play defense. Your senses are on high alert right now, so you have to be mindful of common triggers. This could be the smell of your coworker's lunch, a food you used to love, or even just being in a warm, stuffy room. Figuring out your personal triggers and avoiding them is a huge part of the battle. And to close out the day, keep it simple. A really bland dinner, nothing spicy or greasy, is going to be your best friend. Prioritize rest and try to get to bed early. Your body is doing some seriously incredible work. And just like in the morning, if you happen to wake up in the middle of the night, having a small snack ready can help keep your stomach settled. Okay, now that we have a daily game plan, let's build your anti-nausea toolkit. Think of it as your go-to arsenal of foods, drinks, and remedies to have ready for when that queasiness hits. When it comes to actual meals, the key is to think simple and gentle. A lot of people find that cold foods, like sandwiches or salads, are way easier to tolerate because they don't have strong smells. Bland options like chicken broth or a plain baked potato can be so soothing. You don't need to get fancy. Plain fruits and veggies are perfect. For snacks and drinks, you've actually got a ton of great options. Lemons are fantastic. You can eat them, suck on a slice, or even just sniff one for a quick reset. Ginger is a classic remedy, and you can try it in any form. Ginger ale, tea, even ginger snaps. And really don't underestimate the simple stuff like peppermint tea, pretzels, or a flavored popsicle. Beyond food, there are other things worth a try. Ginger lollipops, the kind they sell for motion sickness, can be a total lifesaver. A little aromatherapy with peppermint or lime oils can help, and a lot of people swear by those acupressure wristbands. Now, they don't work for everyone, but they are absolutely worth a shot. Okay, here is a really specific and super important tip. If you notice your nausea gets way worse right after you take your prenatal vitamin, the iron could be the culprit. A really simple fix? Try taking your vitamin at night, right before bed, with a small snack. For some people, this one little switch can make a world of difference. Okay, this last section is incredibly important. Because while morning sickness is totally normal, we need to talk about how to recognize the signs of something more serious, so you know exactly when it's time to call the doctor. The condition you need to be aware of is called hyperemesis gravidarum, or HG. This is not just bad morning sickness. It's a much more severe condition where the vomiting is so persistent that you just can't keep food or fluids down, and that can lead to things like dehydration. So let's just look at the key differences side by side. With typical morning sickness, you feel nauseous, you might throw up sometimes, but you can generally keep some food and fluids down. With HG, the vomiting is so excessive that you really can't, and that's the crucial distinction. Morning sickness isn't harmful, but HG can be and often requires medical treatment to manage. So, the bottom line is this: trust your gut. You know your body better than anyone. If you are ever concerned that what you're feeling is more than just typical morning sickness, or if you find you just can't keep anything down, please call your doctor. It is always better to be safe. We've covered a lot of ground here, from daily routines to specific snacks. So, to wrap up, I want to leave you with this question. Looking back at everything in this toolkit, what's just one small, manageable thing you can try today? Maybe it's putting those crackers by your bed, or maybe it's sipping some ginger tea. Just start small, be kind to yourself, and remember, this phase will pass.